At the start of the movie, we're introduced to three students, Shun, Amaya, and Ichika, while a mysterious voice in the background complains to God about how dull and meaningless life has become. In the next moment, Shun and his classmates are shown inside a college classroom where a strange doll suddenly appears. It's a Daruma doll, an odd-looking figure with only a head, that forces the students to participate in a deadly game. The game is Daruma-san ga Koronda, where the doll chants a phrase, turns around, and instantly kills anyone caught moving. Those who die are transformed into red marbles on the spot. Confusion spreads through the classroom as the students panic, unsure of the rules, fearing they will soon join their fallen friends. Their numbers quickly shrink. Two boys attempt to escape by breaking the door, but it's locked, and when the doll spots them moving, they're killed instantly. Amidst the chaos, a student nicknamed the Gamer Boy takes initiative. He steps forward to read a message written on the doll's back. The instructions reveal that the game can end if someone presses a hidden button. A brave student rushes forward to hit it, but before he can succeed, the doll turns and kills him on the spot. Shun then notices something crucial, a timer ticking on the back of the doll. Time is running out. Hearing this, several others make desperate attempts to press the button, but all fail and meet their end. Eventually, only Shun and the gamer remain, with the floor now covered in the marbles of their dead classmates, making movement nearly impossible. With seconds left, the gamer proposes a strategy. Shun should use his back as a platform to leap over the slippery marbles. Following the plan, Shun jumps and successfully presses the button, ending the deadly game. Just when it seems like a victory, the doll cruelly declares Shun as the sole winner and executes the gamer on the spot. The film then flashes back to Shun's ordinary life before all this horror began. His days were monotonous, lying on the couch, playing video games, and aimlessly flipping TV channels. At school, he walked with his gamer friend, who teased him about asking Ichika out after she smiled at him. Ichika, another student with a passion for video games, was often kind to Shun, but Shun insisted he didn't see her that way, claiming they were just friends. As they entered class, they passed by Amaya, the school bully, beating up another boy. Later, during a lecture, Shun dozed off, only to be jolted awake by a loud noise. To his horror, his teacher's head exploded in front of everyone, and the Daruma doll appeared, bringing us back to the opening events. In the present, Shun begins praying desperately to God, begging to return to his uneventful, boring life. The Daruma doll cryptically calls him a mouse, warning that a cat will soon arrive. Meanwhile, Ichika stumbles upon Shun's devastated classroom and is horrified by the scene. Shun asks if she knows what's happened, but she's just as confused. Attempts to call the police fail since there's no signal, and every exit they try is sealed. Together, they flee toward the basketball court, only to find more survivors dressed in mice costumes. The ones who escaped the Daruma doll. Written on the court's floor are the words, "Fit the cat's bell for it to end." The student body president quickly orders everyone to wear the costumes. Suddenly, the ground splits open, and a gigantic plastic cat emerges, swallowing students one by one and throwing everyone into chaos. Shun spots a bell-shaped ball with a timer and realizes the game's goal. The bell must be thrown through the hoop located on the cat's neck. A skilled basketball player tries first, shooting the bell toward the hoop, but the cat catches it midair and hurls it back, killing the boy instantly. Observing carefully, Shun notices that the cat only attacks students wearing the mice outfits. He urges everyone to remove them, and for a brief moment, the cat remains still. But as soon as the students start celebrating, the creature pounces again and devours another victim. Panic returns. Amid the chaos, Ichika falls, and without hesitation, Shun dons a mouse costume to draw the cat's attention away from her. Surprisingly, he hears the cat's voice through the costume. The giant creature isn't malicious. It's simply begging someone to scratch its back so it can sleep. Realizing this, Shun climbs onto the cat's back and begins scratching it. Encouraged by him, the others join in, and the cat finally dozes off. With the creature asleep, Shun seizes the chance to grab the bell and prepare for the final throw. However, before he can act, the remaining students turn on him, convinced that whoever scores will become the sole winner. Instead of unity, the survivors begin quarreling amongst themselves. As the group quarrels, the cat suddenly wakes and launches another attack on the students. Thinking fast, Shun devises a new plan. He hides the bell inside a regular basketball to fool the creature. He and Ichika toss it toward the hoop, ready to cheer, but the ball bounces off the rim. Just then, Amaya shows up at the last second and manages to score, finally ending the game. The cat then announces that only 3 survivors, Shun, Ichika, and Amaya, will live. Shun immediately asks what will happen to the rest, but before he gets an answer, Amaya ruthlessly slaughters the remaining students. He declares that only the strongest deserve to survive, claiming it to be God's will. Amaya steps towards Shun, saying the two of them are alike. They both have the will and ability to live through anything. Ichika strongly disagrees, insisting Shun is nothing like Amaya, pointing out that Shun is not only kinder, but also more intelligent and resilient. Hearing this, Amaya loses his temper and prepares to attack her. However, before he can, the giant cat spews gas from its mouth, knocking all of them unconscious. the scene shifts to a news broadcast reporting the school incidents as terrorist attacks. Another report reveals massive cubes floating above the cities, with defense forces and police unable to find any way inside, despite multiple attempts. The media further claims that the survivors are God's children, as they were able to endure such brutal trials. Professors and experts debate the situation, speculating whether it might be an alien invasion threatening humanity. Elsewhere, a homeless man is seen repairing a broken radio simply by touching it, hinting at mysterious powers emerging. Meanwhile, Shun wakes up inside one of the floating cubes. He discovers other survivors around him, including his childhood friend Takumi, a timid girl named Tiara, and a proud yet brilliant student named Tauka. Realizing he's trapped in another death game, Shun feels defeated. He tries to escape, but every door is sealed shut. Tauka smugly explains that the only way out is to win the game, boasting that his intellect guarantees his survival. A screen activates, announcing the rules. To escape, they must find keys hidden within the game. Soon after, 4 wooden dolls enter the room. They introduce themselves as Kokushi dolls and explain the challenge. Each player will be blindfolded while the dolls circle them, singing. When the song stops, the participant has just 10 seconds to guess which doll is behind them. Guess wrong, and death is immediate. If the dolls lose, one of them will explode, revealing a key that opens the door to the next stage. Confident in his abilities, Tauka goes first, followed by Tiara. Both fail to guess correctly and are killed. When the dolls approach Takumi, Shun interrupts and demands to go instead. Using his quick thinking, he outsmarts the dolls. Having secretly recorded their voices on his phone earlier when Tiara played, he can now distinguish their subtle differences. He guesses correctly and wins. The game ends and one doll explodes, leaving behind a key. Shun grabs it and exits the room with Takumi. Outside, they encounter a terrified man being chased by a grotesque doll. The man begs them to hold his hand, explaining the dolls cannot harm anyone connected by friendship. They agree, and the doll vanishes, bitterly remarking how envious it is of their bond. Noticing Takumi's pendant, Shun recalls a past memory. Back then, Takumi had been on the verge of suicide, standing on a rooftop, while Shun was venting his rage by smashing cups and plates against a wall. Seeing her despair, Shun offered her a chance to break the crockery too, which helped her release her emotions. The pendant she now wears is made from that very cup handle he gave her. Back in the present, Shun and Takumi hear a girl screaming. They rush toward the sound and find Ichika fleeing from the same doll. Shun immediately grabs her hand, saving her just in time. Soon after, a wall disintegrates, revealing a massive doll's face with 7 keyholes. Shun and his group arrive to find 2 other contestants already waiting. They count their keys and realize 3 are still missing. Suddenly, Amaya appears, holding the remaining keys, and coldly kills his companion, since only 7 players are allowed to advance. Once all 7 locks are filled, the giant doll face declares them winners before sinking back into the wall, opening a hidden passage. A voice orders them to follow the corridor while putting on the provided costumes. It's revealed that every single death game so far has been broadcast across the country for everyone to see. The survivors soon find themselves trapped inside a freezing chamber. A massive polar bear suddenly appears, introducing himself. He explains that he despises liars and people with blackened hearts. The rules of this round are simple. Answer honestly. Anyone caught lying will be killed. The first question is harmless. The bear asks each contestant about their favorite food. After hearing their answers, he becomes suspicious of one student. He gives the group 2 minutes to identify who lied. At first they argue, but eventually everyone accuses the boy who said parsley. The bear stomps him to death instantly. Next, the polar bear asks whether they like Shun. Those who know him, including Takumi, answer yes, while the rest say no. The bear still insists someone is lying and again orders them to reveal the traitor. This time, everyone points to Takumi, reasoning that she and Shun had been distant for years. Shun desperately tries to defend her, but the bear kills her on the spot. Heartbroken, Shun snaps and screams that the real liar is the bear himself. To everyone's shock, he's correct. The bear sheds its white fur, revealing its true black form. With its deception exposed, the game ends, and the survivors move on to the final challenge. The remaining 5 contestants are escorted to a temple. Once the doors open, 3 wooden dolls greet them. They introduce themselves as the embodiments of fitness, intelligence, and imagination. The last trial is called Kick the Can. The rules are as follows: 1 player becomes the demon, while the rest are victims. The demon must place a can in a set location, giving the others time to hide. Afterward, the demon searches for the victims. If he identifies them by name upon seeing their face, they are captured and locked in cells. If the demon captures everyone and then kicks the can, he wins. However, if even 1 victim reaches the can and kicks it, all victims win instead. But the one who kicks it will die in an explosion. The players each draw a stick, with the red stick determining the demon. Amaya draws it. He quickly sets the can down and begins the hunt. Within moments, he captures 2 students. Ichika then bravely sacrifices herself to distract him, allowing Shun to escape. Once Ichika is locked up, Amaya declares he doesn't even need to catch Shun in order to win. Despite Ichika urging him to stay hidden, Shun steps forward wearing a full suit of armor to conceal his identity. He taunts Amaya, saying it's impossible to be caught if his face can't be seen. Amaya laughs at the idea and rips off Shun's helmet. As he moves to finish the game by kicking the can, he suddenly realizes Shun has chained him. Shun dives into the water, dragging Amaya with him. Amaya struggles but eventually breaks free, racing toward the can, only for Shun to get there first and kick it. Both brace themselves for an explosion, but nothing happens. The dolls then announce the truth. The supposed explosion was a lie to make the game more thrilling. The trial is over, and everyone but Amaya is declared a winner. Furious, Amaya grabs one of the dolls, shouting that he was chosen by God and cannot die. The dolls only laugh, revealing that none of the games were meant to decide survival at all. Fireworks light the sky in celebration, and the winners are handed ice creams as rewards. While eating, Shun gathers the courage to confess his feelings to Ichika. Even asking her out on a movie date, she happily accepts. But as their ice creams melt, hidden writing is revealed on the sticks. The dolls announce yet another cruel twist. Even after surviving this far, only luck will decide who lives. Shun and Amaya's sticks read, "You live," while Ichika and the other three read, "You die." Before Shun can react, the losers are killed. Ichika vanishes before his eyes. Finally, Shun and Amaya emerge from the cube, greeted by a massive cheering crowd hailing them as God's children. Amaya revels in the attention, while Shun collapses in grief, declaring that no God could exist after everything he's endured. But a doll steps forward and corrects him. God does exist. The film ends with the shocking reveal. The homeless man seen earlier is, in fact, God. Like and subscribe for more recaps like this.